Launching a custom apparel business is a lot easier than you think, especially when you use DTF transfers. You don't have to invest into anything other than a heat press and a couple gang sheets. Today, I'm going to cover the pricing structure, how to break it down, and what your actual profit margin could look like. There are so many questions around pricing and all of the things, so that's what we're going to cover today. And I'll even give you a little cheat sheet to help you just plug in numbers and get everything at the end. It's going to save you a lot of time. Anyways, before we jump in, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell, and you will be invited each and every time we have a new tutorial, just like this one. So let's get into it. I would like to preference, if you are unsure what a DTF transfer is or how the substrate is used, please pause and check out my DTF playlist. That's going to get you a great understanding and a head start on everything you need to know to start your own business with just these transfers in a heat press. One last note before we dive right in, if you create with any other form of substrate, like sublimation for example, this formula and foundation can be used to come up with your pricing and profit margins. You would just need to change out your titles, descriptions, and of course your numbers. This entire process starts with the DTF gang sheet. If you're unsure what a gang sheet is, it is just one very large print that houses all of your individual designs. Ordering it in bulk gives you the advantage of saving on individual prints. As you can see here, they come at 22 inches in width, and then you order in the length. So you can order as small as 2 foot and as large as 10 foot. The supplier I prefer to use is Transfer Gang for a multitude of different reasons that I cover in our newest episode of Beyond the Prints. But for a quick recap, their pricing structure is incredible and their customer service is phenomenal. Over the years, I've tried 2 to 3 different suppliers, and they were just a trial and error process, and I'm very glad that I have found this supplier. So I would recommend starting with them, and they of course are listed in the description box below. For today's breakdown, we are going to be using the example of a 10-foot gang sheet priced at $59.99. I am going to round that up to $60 just so it's a bit easier to follow the math. On a 10-foot gang sheet at 22 inches wide, you can fit roughly 24 adult-sized designs. Adult-sized designs are roughly 10 to 10.5 inches in width, so we'll be just using 10 inches today. You can fit 2 across and roughly 12 in length. So to figure out the individual cost per design, you need to take the entire total of the gang sheet, which is $60, divide it by the individual amount of transfers, which is 24, and you'll come to $2.50 per transfer. So if you've ever ordered these individually, you're instantly seeing that there is a huge savings. Individual transfers cost about $5 to $7 a piece. But when you order in a larger gang sheet, you of course save quite a bit of money at that $2.50. And that is how we are able to grow our profit margin, which you will see at the end of this video. Now that we have an idea of how much each individual print is going to cost us, let's add in our apparel and then figure out what you can actually be making on custom items. Today, we're just going to be using the example of a t-shirt, but you can mix and match the same exact method with sweatshirts, sweatpants, book bags, literally anything. It's just the numbers that you're going to crunch. Now we need to figure out how much our total cost is to create each individual piece of apparel. So of course we know that our transfers are $2.50 each. Then we need to figure out how much our piece of apparel is going to cost us. Today I am going to use the example of a Gildan soft style, and whether you purchase on Jiffy Shirt or Shirt Space, they are around $3.21 as of November 2024. At that point, we need to figure out our time. And I know a lot of us don't even know where to begin with time, so let me slow this down for us. You need to set an hourly rate. For me, I'm around $20, and if you're not sure your hourly rate, I cannot necessarily tell you, but you should base this off of your demographic, what other creators are charging, and how much experience you have. Now, it takes me about 5 minutes to press a shirt. That is prepping the shirt, prepping my press, and prepping my transfer. So what I would do to figure out my individual cost at 5 minutes is take my hourly rate, which is $20, and then divide that by 12, because there are 12 periods of 5 minutes in 1 hour. And that breaks down into $1.67. So with all of those totals combined, we are at a total cost of $7.38 that it is costing us to create our apparel. Now you can see that it doesn't cost you too much money to actually get started compared to purchasing a humongous DTF printer and then being completely lost in the wind. So now we need to figure out what our actual profit margin is and how much money we can make on each individual item. Figuring out our profit margin actually starts at the end and then working ourselves backwards. And I know that sounds a bit confusing, but I will make this very simple. So, upon market research, the average t-shirt is selling for $20 to $35. And there are some huge things to consider when you are pricing your apparel. The first one is always the apparel quality, right next to the design quality. So let's say that you have an average Hanes 100% cotton t-shirt that's just generic black with white text. That would be priced around the $20 range. On the opposite end, let's say that you have a Gildan Soft Style, unique, trendy color with a bold and detailed design. That can probably pull around the $35 price range, so you have to consider what you're actually selling. Of course, there are some other things to take into note, like your sales avenue and if you have any seller's fees, your demographic. If you're in a large city, things are a little bit more costly rather than a rural community. And I always recommend doing a bit of market research to figure out what your competitors are charging. And if your designs are super trendy, they may be selling on places like Temu or TikTok Shop, which really drive down the cost and can kind of hurt small business owners. So, for comparison, let's break down the low and the high end. If we know that our apparel is being sold at $20, then we also need to subtract our total cost. We know that the cost to create the item is $7.38. Now, in some states, you should consider your sales tax. I live in Pennsylvania. We do not have sales tax on clothing. However, for example, let's just say that sales tax is 6%, and it is included within that $20 price range. So you would add your total cost of creation plus the total cost of tax, and then subtract that from your original $20 sales. That will leave you with your total profit, which is $12.62 per unit. So let's follow the same method on the high end. If you sell an item for $35, you would then need to subtract your total cost of creation, your total cost of tax, and that would leave you with $17.62 in pure profit for each individual t-shirt. So remember earlier when we included the cost of our time? That was very important because at this step, when you find your total profit, that is 100% profit into your business. Even if you were to pay somebody out to press these shirts for you, you still had that cost considered previously. So this $12 or the $17 is pure profit for you. Of course, there are other things that you as a business would have to pay out, such as federal tax or overhead fees for an office, but those things would solely be on a different budget plan. Now, it is always great to understand what your profit margin is per unit. However, it is also great to visually see the profit margin you would make on an entire 10-foot gang sheet. So let's break that down together so you can see both sides of the coin. This is my cost and profit margin calculator. It is offered for Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet online, and you guys do have full access to this. It is listed down below in the description box, but let me cover everything that you should know. So in the top part, it is a full automatic calculator, and it is going to show you exactly how much your individual unit costs. The blue boxes are where you input your data. The white boxes are automatic calculations, and then your yellow boxes are your total unit of cost and or profit. This top portion is everything we covered in the beginning of the video, and the bottom portion is going to be showing you the entire profit for the full gang sheet if each item was to sell out. Calculating your overall sellout profit is super easy. Once again, all the blue boxes are where you will input data. You'll start by inputting what you're selling each unit for, and we'll utilize the $35 margin today. Then your total cost is going to come down from the top section, and you will input any fees like tax fees, shipping fees, or transaction fees if you're selling on places like Etsy or Shopify. If none of those fees apply, you would just simply put in 0. At the bottom, it's going to automatically calculate your overall profit once again for the individual unit. And on the right-hand side, it will multiply the total number of designs that you purchased, which was 24, by your individual profit margin, leaving you with your overall sell-out profit, which would be $565.48. I am not a financial expert, nor am I claiming to be, and I am not giving you financial advice, but I would like to say this has helped me tremendously as a business owner in my own personal life. Creating a profit margin breakdown has helped me in every order that I've ever created. It helps me when I walk into my accountant's office, doing my own bookwork, and even filing my taxes for the following year. And I make a copy of this for every single order or every single vendor show that I am creating for. That way, I have a visual understanding of where I've started and where I can end up. This is the spreadsheet that I have used for years, and it is all automated, so there's really just plug and play here. There's not an extensive amount of math that needs to be done. I will say the custom apparel business is really easy to get into, and you don't need a huge capital overhead now that you can outsource these prints. I don't have a DTF printer. Well, I do have one on a smaller scale, but it can't even print adult size hoodies or t-shirts or anything like that, so I'm still outsourcing prints, and honestly, because of the maintenance cost of these printers, I'm probably going to continue to outsource prints. So please do not shy away from this option because you can make a pretty good profit margin and a great business structure out of this method. That wasn't so bad after all. I hope this video gave you the confidence to truly understand that there is so much money to be made in custom apparel. And if you're on the other side of the screen thinking, well, I know a lot of people that do this, you have to remember those people do not have your style. They don't have your personality. They don't have what is drawing people in to buy from you. Show your personality and your unique style through your brand, and I promise you, people are going to come because they're going to fall in love with you and, of course, your products too. With all of that being said, remember that every piece of information you need is listed in the description box below. All of the links are there so that it's more convenient for you. I would like to add, if you would like the pricing structure database, the Excel spreadsheet that I used in here, you have full access to that. Just go over to KayleeSueVinyl.com, or it's listed down below, and all of that information is there for you. It's an instant download, so there's no waiting, if you know what I mean. Anyways, I'm very glad that you have joined us today, and I hope this pointed you in the right direction. If you have any additional questions or you would like me to elaborate on something further, please comment down below. I'm very active in my comment section, and always feel free to leave any video recommendations. As I say in every video, I truly appreciate you being here, and I hope you have the best day.